Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we are playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This is a community cast sent in by, I still don't know how to say his name. Konosmgr. Konosmgr? Sounds right. Sounds like a totally plausible name. Anyway, you might remember I played him recently. He was playing High Elves, I was playing Chaos, and he beat me. It was a very tough game. I was not expecting Techless at all, so it's nice, you know, he's bucking the trend of just bringing a Lariel every game. So yeah, very cool. He sent me this replay, and it's a good one. It's a very good one. He's playing Bretonnia, and it's a very micro-intensive army, which I always love to see. It's, you know, it's when you can really tell if people know what they're doing, if they can manage everything, you know. It's lovely. So here you can see he has Wardens of Montfort, a couple of Yeoman Archers over here. He has Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis and some Grail Knights, and these are all great units. I mean, they're all very useful. I mean, Mounted Yeoman Archers against Beastmen, super good for killing Centaurs and running away from them. You know, they're quicker than Centaurs, so they can just keep the damage in, which is great. It's so good to be able to shoot those things, the lightly armoured, knowing that you can escape them, you know. Standard Peasant Archers, they're going to get overrun in seconds, so these guys are super useful. Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, just very reliable units, you know. You've got to cycle charge them, of course, like you do with all this cavalry, you know. It's you get more value the more you put in. Grail Knights, of course, they're a classic. They're going to be great. And here you can see a Damsel of Life. Damsel of Life, really good to heal stuff up, especially when you've got, you know, such an elite army. Yeah, you don't want to leave them on their own. He also has King Louie, which I think is a good pick. You know, he regenerates on his own, which is nice. And you'll notice, no regrowth, which I think is surprising. No, he's just gone for Earthblood, so heal when everything charges in, and then they can run out, having been healed, which is an interesting one to, you know, it's an interesting one. It's very micro-intensive, it's tough, but that's what he's gone for, which is very cool. Also, a Paladin in the air, so the anti-large is nice. You know, between him and Leonka, they can bully Gorbals and things like that. He's also got some men-at-arms with polearms, some peasant mobs, more polearms, and more peasant mobs. So some cheap stuff here, but this is perfect, because you can see straight away all these Centaurs with throwing axes are wasting their time firing at these peasant mobs. It's just a waste of axes. So that's beautiful, beautiful straight away. Also, some more Knights Errant, some Knights of the Realm, and some Knights of the Realm. So again, great if they can get a nice sort of sandwiching charge on things like Minotaurs. They can tear them to pieces. Very, very handy. And against anything else, just a really good charge bonus. As long as you cycle charge them, they can really hurt anything. Honestly, they're very good like that. And nice good armor as well. So good if, you know, they're in not sustained combat, but in a bit of a bind, you know, against Ungor Spearmen. That anti-large isn't going to be enough to get a lot of damage in, because they've got the armor to shrug off a lot of the damage, which is nice. So, his opponent, obviously, Centaurs with throwing axes. He has some Chaos Warhounds of Poison. Very good for chasing down all of that nonsense cavalry that you can't catch otherwise. Very handy. But the main thing is just he has so many Bestigors. I mean, 4 units of Bestigors is a lot. And they've got great armor piercing and good armor. So the armor is going to shrug off a lot of the damage from most of the Bretonnian cavalry, because they're not great armor piercing. There's no questing knights here. So they're going to be very survivable, but also they can pack a punch. They don't have the anti-large bonus, but they just hit so hard. You know, a lot of armor piercing damage. It can do a lot of damage to all this elite cav. And also, Korok's Man Rippers, same thing stands, but they do have the anti-large, so absolutely terrifying. He's also got Morga. The Chaos Spawn, pretty handy actually, for sort of blocking in Knights, you know, just summon some Chaos Spawn behind a charge, and you can sandwich it, which is nice, it's very handy. And it just adds some mass to your lines, you know. Also, Ungor Spearmen, it's good to have some Ungor Spearmen dotted around, because you want that anti-large. I know they don't have the huge amount of armor piercing, but they're cheap, they're very cheap, so that's fine. So, speeding things up, here you can see the Bestigors have taken quite a lot of damage, but yeah, Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis are taking a bit in kind. Here, the Grail Knights having to charge the other way to slow down these Bestigors so they can't get as nice surround on them. So very well played, just penning these things in. And unfortunately, this Bray Shaman has been caught massively out of position, and Leonka is coming in for him. So yeah, there's a load of Bestigor nearby, but look how quickly he is suffering there. So that's it, no Spellcaster. That is a steal. This early on, that is gigantic. That is huge. So Mantons with polearms, they have some armor piercing, but they don't have the combat stats to deal with things like Bestigor. They're going to suffer horribly here. But here, peasant mobs, they're just fighting nonsense, who cares? These peasant mobs, they're getting shot at, which is perfect. That's the perfect thing. You want peasant mobs to just take a load of axes to the face, because it means your knights aren't taking axes to the face. So this is perfect, and it's keeping all these guys busy when there's all this valuable cavalry here that could be getting axed, and it's not. No, it's all being wasted on these peasants, so could not be in a better position here. But this is a bit iffy. There's a paladin in here, he's not getting out. With the anti-large and the armor-piercing of the Bestigors here, well, Korok's man-rippers, yeah, he's screwed, isn't he? So anyway, over here, Spearmen getting in, bogging things down, Bestigors still pushing forward. So this is interesting, because it's keeping a lot of units from being able to get nice surrounds on these clumps. You know, the Beastmen aren't clumping up. But it's hard to tell whether that's a good thing or not, because it means that a lot of these units are more secluded, so if he can get a good surround on them with the cavalry, they're going to get wiped out, and there's not a lot you can do about it. So that makes it very tough, but also it means you can't get a surround on the entire army easily. It's keeping pressure on everything, which is kind of nice, especially when you've got a nice juicy paladin that you can catch out. And there's still a lot of strength here. And it's keeping all of the archers away from the Korok's man-rippers. I know they've got the armor, and these archers don't have the best armor-piercing, but they're just so valuable. They're such a great counter to all the Bretonnian cavalry that keeping them safe is going to be a priority for the Beastmen player. So over here you can see Leonker, he's just running in here. He's fighting, you know, all the Bestigors, but with that regeneration of his, and just very good combat stats. That's very handy. Also, Sword of Charon, suddenly these guys have lost a load of their armor, which is the thing that was keeping them going, and also a load of melee defense. So suddenly 0 melee defense on these units. They're going to suffer horribly just from cheap things like, well, Knights of the Round aren't too cheap, but charge from them, no armor in the way. Well, there's some armor in the way. I know, I'm going back on myself a lot, but anyway, it's bad. It's really bad for them. This is a beautiful debuff. It's very handy, and nothing's really hitting Leonker a huge amount. He's still on full health. And here, Shield of Thorns giving him physical resistance, and the Scroll of Shielding giving him physical resistance. He's almost untouchable. He can just sit in here, use his huge armor piercing, just to beat the snot out of all of them. So load of cycle charging happening here, trying to keep these guys pinned down. Over here, these Bestigors are a little bit caught out on their own, so some nice charges into these guys to try and slow them down. Very handy. These Ungor Spearmen getting chased off. And finally, they've stopped attacking peasants. The Centaurs with throwing axes, they're coming in. They're coming in to try and fight. And here, this is exactly what I was talking about. Mounted human archers, they can keep away from these units, but they can get good damage in, because these guys don't have any armor. So it's very handy. So suddenly, mounted human archers really paying for themselves, and once again keeping all of these horrible, horrible armor-piercing axes away from all the vital cavalry. So more charges coming in here, trying to wipe out these Bestigor herds. This really needs to get wiped out quickly, because you can't have another unit in here. Because as soon as these Bestigor get amongst the rest of them, they're not going to be taking as much damage. You know, charges might be coming in from all sides, but the other units are going to take some of the flak. So it just means there's more bodies, and they're not going to break necessarily, you know. You need to get rid of them before they can join their friends. Excuse me. Anyway, so here you can see Ungor Spearmen, again, secluded, so you can wipe them out quickly. Very low health, so quickly charge them with everything, and you can wipe them out. And that's what you need to keep doing as Bretonnia against an army like this. Anything that's on its own, get rid of it. Don't let them clump up. You know, it's just not good. It's not good. I know you can charge in every direction, but once things start getting injured, you need to keep them all together. So that way they can share the damage, and they don't take as big, you know, hits to their leadership from all the damage they're taking. So that's basically what he needs to do here. This is what the Beastman player needs to do. He needs to get his units together. And he can't. He can't. The cavalry keeps charging off in different directions and stopping everything that might be chasing. Over here you can see the Knights of the Realm have been chasing these Centaurs for a long time, which is a mistake. That is a mistake. The Knights of the Realm are getting wasted here. But it does mean that the Grail Knights and other units are, you know, less in danger. You know, there's less of a threat there. So over here, the Hounds have come in to try and deal with these other Knights of the Realm, and the Paladin came in to try and deal with the Chaos Warhounds, which hasn't been going great. These Warhounds have lasted for a surprising amount of time, but now, another charge from this side. None of these guys are braced, all attacked in, you know, from the side, and the Sword of Charon has gone down again. The cooldown on that is pretty great. You can use it a lot. But Centaurs are throwing axes, they've stopped chasing the Yeoman archers around, and they're causing problems again. So now he has to pull out with a load of units. He is keeping Louie in here for a little bit, because he just hit so hard. It's going to be great. But now the Chaos Spawn are coming in, so you need to move. You gotta move. Not a good idea to have Louie fighting all this armor-piercing stuff with the Chaos Spawn there. Their mass just stops him from being able to, you know, move around how he wants. Luckily he did get out though, but it means the Sword of Charon is being wasted here slightly, which is a pity. Anyway, more units charging in, and these guys getting a little bit more amorous. One unit has run out of axes, which is incredible. That is so useful. Leonker here, he's probing. He's probing a bit, taking some axes, but he's still got a lot of regeneration left. He's taken very little damage this fight. Here, though, this could have been very bad. The Damsel of Life did take a lot of damage there, and you really want to keep her going. So now, Wands of Montfort, they've run out of ammo. They've run out of ammo. But they're nice and quick. They are nice and quick, and with the numbers here, things could go pretty well. Unfortunately, these mounted human archers, they're getting finished off, but these Centaurs are going to break. which is very, very good. These Centaurs should not be in combat with Grail Knights. They really shouldn't. So they're taking a lot of damage, and they are running away. And the Wardens of Montfort, running out of ammo, they're just going to keep hot on their heels. They're just going to keep chasing. Because these guys, they can get caught by the Wardens of Montfort. And with Grail Knights very close together, as soon as you catch them, they're going to slow down, and the rest of the Knights can finish them. But there's still this massive blob of Beastmen units here. Kind of ignore it, you know? All of the Bretonnian units that are left, they're all mobile cavalry. You don't have to fight them if you don't want to. So it's worth picking off all these additional units that are trying to return to the army. So might as well keep doing that. So these guys, nice quick switch. This was some good micro. Quickly run to the side. You can see the white line is right here. Gets to there, and he's just going to be stuck against it. But nope, beautiful change of direction here, avoiding getting hit by the Wardens of Montfort. So, Louie. That's right, it's this time in the battle. He's just going to cycle charge. He's going to come in, get a good hit on Morga, and then he's going to leave again. Because it's worth whittling him down. Here's the most valuable thing left. Everything else is pretty injured. You can see the balance of power already slightly in Bretonnia's favour. And every hit he can get on Morga is going to shift this. Because that is his main strength left. He also regenerates, of course, but you can hit him so hard, the regeneration's not going to help much. So another hit. Very, very nice. And some charges coming in from every direction. This stuff isn't braced, but unfortunately these Knights Errant have got very caught out here. They managed to penetrate so far into the formation, they're suddenly surrounded. But they are escaping, and more things are charging in. All these unbraced units are getting hit a lot. And here you can see the Bestigor, 2 units of Bestigor have broken. More units are coming back in. These are the throwing axes that managed to finish off those Knights of the Realm. Sad for the Knights of the Realm, but anyway. There's a few little fights happening, and the Konosmgr Rippers are close to all of these engagements, and one of the Bestigor has come back. So that is a pity. These units probably going to come back too. Yep, there they are. And suddenly things are dangerous again. But the Sword of Charon, one more time. Very, very handy. Louie, he's in the middle of all of this. Defends the fleur-de-lis. Nice charge bonus. They're going to get some good damage on the charge. But things are looking a bit iffy. I mean, yeah, I'd say Bretonnia certainly have the advantage. But they don't have many men left. They don't have many left. It's not looking great. You know, Konosmgr Rippers still going fairly strong. You know, leadership is still nice and high, and they're still very deadly. There's still 45 of them, which is a lot. So you can see the defense of the fleur-de-lis. They've been caught out. The Centaurs, great, just being able to chase things after they're trying to flee the charge. It's very hard to cycle charge if you're cycle charging into a group, and there's something in the group is quicker than you. You know, you can't run away so easily. So all the Knights have to come in here and make sure these Centaurs get dealt with. They're the only thing... Oh, no, there's the Chaos Warhounds too. So the Centaurs and the Chaos Warhounds, they are the only things that are stopping complete, you know, the mobility advantage. You need the mobility advantage to be able to hit these guys and retreat without taking damage. That's how you got to do it. But here, you can see once again, Leonka is charging in, going straight for the Warhounds, but he is getting caught up on a lot of other units, because the Warhounds are being pulled back to try and stop them from terrifying. And more Centaurs are coming back in again, because there was nothing to chase, you know, everything had to flee out this way to avoid all the Bestigors and the Konosmgr Rippers. So they had to run away, which let the other units come back in. So the Centaurs are back again, and they are chasing these Grail Knights. These Grail Knights are a little bit caught out here. So yeah, a few of them have been slowed down, and the Konosmgr Rippers are right there. So this is very bad for the Grail Knights. Very bad indeed. And it's all because the Centaurs, they have the mobility advantage there. And there wasn't enough going on. So it's great, you know, use them defensively like that, because they've run out of axes. But they're great for doing this, just using them to chase and allowing the Konosmgr Rippers to catch up. So here, Louie, he's coming right in. Big line of Beastmen, beautiful for a charge, you're going to hit every single model. And here you can see the Centaurs have been terrified away. Oh no, they've been routed. And the Grail Knights now charging into the units that were returning. So these Bestigors that were coming back, they're taking some charges. But the Grail Knights are very injured. I think there's only, what, 12, 13? I can't really tell, because the healing count line is in the way of the second digit. Anyway. So these need to be dealt with, but this is still quite a tight formation. You know, these Konosmgr Rippers can join this fight pretty quickly, and even then the Bestigors, good armor piercing, they are killing a lot of these Grail Knights, which is definitely a pity. But Louie comes in, terrifies everything, and it causes a lot of them to shatter. So brilliant. Just Leonka is just so valuable in this fight. He hits so hard, and he just sends so many of the Bestigor flying, you know, off their feet. It's just great. Every time something is remotely in trouble, Leonka just comes in and just swats the opponent aside. It's amazing. It's amazing. Leonka has been used beautifully here. And if Leonka had been caught out at any point, I think that'd be it. I just don't think there's recovering from that. Leonka has been vital in all of this. You know, he has so much mass, he can just get in and out of a fight so easily. And another Sword of Khorne. And being charged from every direction, these Korok's Man Rippers are going to be taking a huge amount of damage. Absolutely gigantic. And Morga, you can almost ignore in this fight. You know, he can't fight Leonka one-on-one. It's the Korok's Man Rippers that are going to be the bodyguard for him. But once they're dealt with, that's army losses. So there we go, Pyrrhic victory. And wonderful fight. Absolutely loved it. I just love seeing Bretonnian Cav, you know, being used in a big way. It is a lot of fun. So you can see 120 kills from Louie. Barely a scratch on him. Just superb. Grail Knights, 181 kills. It's pretty gigantic when you're fighting such an elite army. When it's all Bestigors, that is a silly amount of kills. That is wonderful to see. So, yeah, absolutely wonderful. I think the main thing here is the Beastmen could have won this. I think the Beastmen could have won this, but they needed to use their Centaurs to attack proper targets. You know, they could have constantly been throwing axes in to the Grail Knights as they were charging in. It would have been very difficult to stop the Centaurs. I mean, yeah, there would have been some Overwatch 5 from the Mounted Yeomen for a while, but as long as you're dodging, you know, and keeping these guys on valuable targets, that's most of the Bretonnian army dead, you know. These guys are just too good at killing knights. You can't have them wasting their axes on peasants. And so, yeah, GG Audio here. He just played into Konosmgr's hands. Someone please tell me how to pronounce this. If you're watching this, buddy, please tell me how that's supposed to be pronounced. Anyway, but beautiful. Absolutely beautifully played. And I just love seeing cavalry, you know, being utilised well like that. But it's one of those armies, you know, it's a great army, but if you give that to someone who doesn't know what they're doing, they're just going to lose so many other things to terrible engagements. But constantly, you know, one unit was charging in, another unit would quickly react to something that was trying to surround or back things up, you know. Just hit them off their feet every time. So as they're charging in, they're not braced, they're going to get sent flying, and then you can pull out of there, and it buys time. And there are all these great time-buying moves that were really interesting to see. So, yeah, absolute pleasure. So thanks for sending it in. And although I should have said this at the start, really, yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. I know it's a bit late, but, you know, I haven't posted. I've been absolutely exhausted from, you know, just family stuff, basically. So that's why I haven't posted in a while. But anyway, Merry Christmas, if you know, do Christmas. If you don't, Merry whatever it is you do. And I hope you had a good time regardless of what you were celebrating or weren't celebrating. It's all good. So guys, yeah, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.